Right.
Let's just keep out the way.
Keep out the way. Okay. Well, yeah, we've pressed the record button. We've got the Casper the Friendly Ghost trying to get in. Oh no, it's Matty Harris. Not quite. October Red back with Peter Fury. Peter, as per usual, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you.
It always is. Yeah, it's nice to come here in the gym. We've done a good bit this morning. Everybody's got some rounds in, so it's been a good Monday.
You know what it is, Peter? You know when you meet people, and then you meet a lot of people in life, don't you? But you meet certain people in boxing, and you get on with them really well. You know, look at that one there that's just leaving now, Matty Harris, that didn't remember any of his kit. Didn't remember anything today, but he's a good lad, isn't he?
We don't worry about gum shields and head guards and stuff like that. If you've left them, you still got to get in and do it.
That's it.
So it's like a car park scrap.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Get in there.
A bit of newspaper.
Yeah, exactly. You know. See you, Matt.
I'm glad to see you teaching him the ways how to be a real fighting man.
Yeah,
but
this is the fight game. There's no primp. I've not got my head guard, I ain't got my gum shield, I can't spar. If you've left it tough, you're getting in anyway. It's one of them. But ideally, they should bring it on.
we don't live in an ideal world, do we?
No,
how is young Matty getting on? Because what I will say, over time, over the weeks, you can start to see the improvements when you're watching, obviously, the sparring. But how's he been getting on with you? Your words?
Yeah, he's coming on. He's young, isn't he? He's a young heavyweight, and sometimes it's hard to get through. But this game's about patience. Keep knocking on the door, and eventually it starts to sink in. So he's a lot more sharper. He's putting his shots together a lot better. Still plenty of work to be done, but he's on the right track.
Speaking of on the right track, we had Hughie Fury get his very early stoppage. That quick succession, once on GBM, then on Sky Sports on the undercard of obviously Lauren Price and Jessica McCaskill. Talk to us about that. It's like he's back in the mix now, isn't he?
I won't say much as back in the mix, but we're getting him fights where we'll try and get another durable opponent for the 29th of June and get rounds out. Because really, when they're going over that quick, so we need somebody a lot more durable next time. But, so far so good.
How's he found it from obviously having that three-year break and then obviously having the 2 fights in succession? The first one obviously, went to a points win, UD, very confident points win to get in the stoppage. How's Hughie found it?
Yeah, it's fight by fight. The second guy was nowhere near as tough as the first. So it just depends who you get. They look and you think, this, like Hughie can't punch but nobody's stopping that guy anyway. He's not been stopped ever, I don't think. And he was fresh as well because he's coming off a 10-rounder, the first one. So he done what he had to do. He got a good points, got good rounds out. And the second fight, well, it is what it is, so we move on. But at this stage, it's all about, I want to see the work he needs to be doing. It's all about working on his stuff. And it's just fight by fight. We're in no rush. He's been 3 years out, and you can't bridge that gap in 5 minutes.
One of the things that I think the public don't realise is how long Hughie has been boxing for. The fact that he started when he was a lot younger, obviously, and because of that, he's still quite young now. Peter, you've got heavyweights that are turning over that are the same age as Hughie. That's what I'm getting at. He's still quite young, isn't he?
Yeah, he's had a vast lot of experience. He's 31 fights in. So it's just a case now of sharpening his tools, getting him active, making up for lost time, and steady progressions. And when we see he's ready, we'll step him up. Let's see what he does now in his next fight on the 29th of June. And hopefully we can get him on Sky in a decent fight with a name or something. So we'll have a look. But let's see, when I say a name, let's see how he does. Let's see how he does on the 29th of June. If he doesn't, we'll just keep plodding on with these gatekeepers.
And I believe that fight is a courtesy of GBM Sports, and it's at the Sky Dome in Coventry. Is that right?
It is. and GVM Sports are doing a lovely job, aren't they? So I'm privileged because obviously I know Izzy very well. He's a good friend of mine, and it's perfect for us. You know, one on GBM, one on Sky, Boxer, one on GBM, one like this. So it works. He's getting the activity.
Peter, how would you say that he's been in that position where you've got that fluidity, where you can literally, like you said, one on GBM, one on Sky, and have that kind of like privilege to do it how you want to do it, to ensure that your fighter stays active? And is that something that you'd look to employ with other fighters that you've got in the gym, just to ensure that they call it ticking over, don't they?
I think it's important for fighters to stay active. You know, they're in the gym, they're training, they need to fight. So, yeah, definitely, especially for heavyweights. You know, the sitting down, not doing anything is a killer. So it's about getting active. There's nothing like, you can spar, you can train in the gym, you can have 100 sparring partners. There's nothing like getting under the lights, because when you're under the lights, well, no matter how good your sparring is, when you're under them lights, knock 50% off it. Because that's what I see. You're always going to get minimum 40% less than what you see in the gym, because that's their comfortable area. You know, so when it's under the lights, that's where it's all got to kick in. And I think the best way to get that, especially with Hughie I'm on about, is activity.
We love it. I've got to speak to you. I'm going to go back first of all to the weekend just gone, and the amazing fight that we had with Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall. An enjoyable fight. I was there for the first, watched the second one at home, but it seemed to have carried on the same momentum that it had with the first one, with the crowd, with the electricity of the fight, with us being entertained, the rounds flying. I could go on, but how did you see that fight, Peter?
I think it was a very, very good fight. You know, you've got to say that Catterall was landing the quality shots, because that's what it looked at when I was looking at the television. But he come back in the second half, Josh Taylor. The sheer fitness, determination, his work rate, refusing to take second best. It brought the best out of both of them. I thought it was a fantastic fight. And the thing is, you know, there is no real losers in that fight. I don't see a loser in that fight. Although Jack Catterall's won, and I think he deserved the decision. He won the fight. But there is no losers, because it was such a competitive, good fight. So I think both will do massively, only do massively good from it. And Josh Taylor showed he belongs there. I think with Josh Taylor, he just needs to move his head a little bit more. You know, just a little bit, same explosiveness, same coming forward, just tweak a little bit of Edmund. But he's got a fantastic team, they'll know anyway. They'll look at it. But, you know, the future's bright for both of them, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems like listen, I'm no judge and I don't do scoring like that because I always get it wrong anyway. But I think one of the cards, I think it was twice, the judges had it to, is it 117, 111? If I'm wrong, I'm sure they'll correct me in the comments. But do you think that was a wide card decision, or do you think it was justified? If you're going to meticulously score it, like you said, Jack seemed to land the more eye-catching or the more heavier, the more purposeful shots.
Do you know what I think the problem is? I think it was wide. It was definitely too wide. But the problem is this. When everybody screams robbery first time, yeah, when it comes to the second one, the judges are swayed. They're terrified of getting it wrong. And this happened with us with Parker, to be fair, because they were screaming about it in the build-up. We're going to get robbed. We're going to get this. We're going to get clever tactics by his promoter. Yeah, and he told me what he'd done afterwards. They played on it, and it was good for them because it worked on the judges. It cost us a world title fight, that did. So what I'm saying is, this is what happens. So judges, you know, excuse my French, need to go a pair of bollocks, and shouldn't be. Look, a judge is to do what? A judge is to sit on the fence. He neither goes left nor right. He sees what he sees. It doesn't matter if he's got an army of machetes on his back, yeah, and his head's going to get cut off. If he's worried about the crowd and he's worried about people's going to say, you're not a judge, are you? So when the heat's hot, get out the kitchen, isn't it? If you're not that man and you want to please everybody, you shouldn't be a judge. That's what I've seen in that fight. This is why these scores are always like that. They can be manipulated. The judges can be manipulated. If it's not an hotel room with a brass in it, it's something else. Yeah? Not all the time, that was in the olden days.
I was about to say, Pete, is there something that I'm missing here?
That was in the olden days, don't say that's today. But judges today, they've got a lot better, but I'll speak out about it. They need to do a lot better than what they're doing. Because in important fights like that, just judge the fights properly. Don't judge the fights through political pressure of what's happened previous, and where where this happens, because that does happen. Jack Catterall hasn't done anything wrong. He genuinely thought he got robbed. I thought he won the last fight anyway.
Same.
Yeah, but because of all of this, they've scored it. They've gone mad with it, because this is obviously at the back of the mind. That shouldn't be happening.
And I can't disagree with that.
But let's not take anything away from the fight. Let's just put the judges to one side. The right man got the decision, but it was a hell of a fight. And both of them, there's no real losers there.
Would you like to see a trilogy?
Yeah, why not? Definitely. But let's have a look what Jack Catterall is. He's a special talent. I seen that kid years ago. I seen how calm he was. I seen how he was putting that jab in. And I was looking at it, I had to look again. I thought, this kid's finding shots from unbelievable angles when it looks like he's got nothing there. It looks like he's way out. So you've got to look twice with him. He's a brilliant tactician. He's a very, very good fighter. And, and I can understand him where it's bittersweet, because he should have been undisputed champion. He's won a fight there worthy of any world championship, and he hasn't got one. But it's only a matter of time for him, I think. I think there's only Josh Taylor out there to really give him a real problem. I think Jack Catterall can go a long way. So, yeah, definitely good things for him.
I like that, and it's positive for Jack as well, because he's had to obviously overcome a lot, like dealing with a loss that should have been a win this time, and then possibly now it undermines the win when the cards are so wide, because it's not fair on the fighter, because it's like now you're just giving him that because you were unfair to him last time.
I don't think that's true. I think he was the winner there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So this fight, but it was such a competitive fight. It wasn't as wide as what they're saying. Maybe a couple of rounds max, if that. So, but listen, he's and not only that, you got to look at the pressure Catterall was under in that fight coming into it. There's pressure there, because in his eyes he got robbed last time and all this, and he got to correct it. And fights don't always go their way on the second one, and it was a much better fight than the first one. It went similar the same way, but it was a better fight. So this is what it is. So I think, he's definitely, I think next time as well, I think we'll see Jack do even better, because he knows now that pressure's off. He knows he's the real deal where he can do it at this level. So this game's all about mentalness. It's all about the confidence.
I've got to go back another week. I could talk about other fights on the card, but we're gonna go to Saudi, which is our favourite topic. We love talking about this from the conversation we had last time. You couldn't give me $1 billion. It was where it went. But can I talk about Joe Cordina and Anton Kakachi? Yeah. I've got his name right, Kakachi. Yeah. That fight to me was brilliant, because it was brilliant in a couple of ways for me. Because nobody thought Kakachi was going to win. Everybody said he was on his way out. It was almost like they were putting him on his boxing deathbed. And he went in there and put on a really tremendous performance against the world champion, which is Joe Cordina. Talk to us about that, Peter.
I think Joe Cordina's a hell of a fighter. I've seen him a few times. But, Kakachi brought it, and he just thought, forget the boxing. I'm going to let my shots rip. And what a display from him. Constant pressure. But it was pressure where he was putting quality shots in.
Yeah.
He was making every shot count. And it took his toll in the end. I think no way Cordina is... I wouldn't write him off. He'll be back. More head movement, especially on the inside. Because he was taking the upper... I think he took I'm not sure. He could have took 3 uppercuts in succession. That shouldn't be happening at that level. His head's too still. So if he'd have just slipped more, he'd have done better. But look, they'll know what they need to work on next time. But the other fella, wow, it was a great fight. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Talk to me then about Marius Bradis and Jai Opetaia. Jai Opetaia obviously came to everyone's attention. I didn't know who Jai was before until he fought Marius Bradis. Marius managed to, you've got the story of both sides of his jaw broken. Really good fight, home fight, out there in Oz. Jai Opetaia gets the win, becomes a champion.
Whose jaw was broken?
Jai Opetaia, both sides. Marius broke his jaw in their first fight. Really good fight to watch. It was more or less, but it was a bit more action in the first fight than it was in this one. Jai then ends up he's got this bogeyman now. He's like this monster in the cruiserweight division. He's taking people out. He won his fight with Jordan Thompson's stoppage. More recently, Eli Zorro. Then the rematch goes in with Bradis. I saw a little bit of a different Jai to what I've seen with him, with obviously his opponents, Jordan Thompson and Eli Zorro. A more tentative fighter, a more fighter that was cautious. Now he's going back in there with a man who broke both sides of his face. Talk to us about that fight and what you saw and what makes that fighter tentative, scared of the power, reluctant of the power. I can't say he's scared, he's not scared of anyone, but break the fight down, Peter.
I just think, how many fights has Jay, whatever his name is, how many fights has he had?
I'd have to get up BoxRec for that. But I did look at it the other day.
He doesn't look that experienced to me. He's still learning. And what I mean by that, he's a big unit and he can fight the kid. But you've seen limitations there when he was in Bradis. He was like, he didn't have many tricks to his game. That's what I've seen with him. I thought Bradis showed quite a lot of weaknesses in him. The quality's there, and listen, I'm not criticising any fighter. Listen, he's a world champion and he belongs there. But I just see this Jai Opetaia getting better. So these are the type of fights you got to see. Not the fights where written people knocking them out. When the serious opposition comes, then you see the true colours of the fighter. So this is what we need to see, and I think that Jai Opetaia will take things from it. But that was a good fight. It was swinging backwards and forwards. It was a great fight. But I think there's a lot more he could have done in there, and I think it's just that maybe lack of experience. I don't think he's had many pro fights, has he?
Yeah, what I will do is get up BoxRec, because I did look at it at the time, because I went on there purposeful.
I could be wrong, but that's what I see. Whether he's had many or not,
yeah.
I think he can add a lot more to his game.
Yeah, I thought because of how Bradis hasn't boxed since he last boxed Opetaia, which was 2 years ago. So I went on to BoxRec to see if Bradis had some couple of sneaky fights that we didn't know about. But Bradis had not been in the ring since his last bout.
What I've seen with that fight is that it was the same pattern every round. Do you know what I mean? There was nothing changing. It was the same. One was doing one thing, one was doing the other. So he needs more irons in his fire, I think.
I like it. Good feedback. I've got to touch on the main events, the Undisputed bout. Obviously, as a former trainer and family member to Tyson Fury, I want your opinion on the fight itself, and then afterwards, I want to touch on something else that's sort of gripped me a little bit. But the fight itself, you're sat there watching it. What did you see?
I thought it was a good fight. To be fair, he done the best he could do, and that's it. You can only give it your best shot. And, it's not really my place to speak because it's family as well. So I think he done his best. And that's all you can ask for. He is an exceptional world champion, Usyk. I've always said this guy is a very, very good fighter. He's the best fighter Tyson's ever been up against. That's for sure. And it was a close fight. It was ebbing and flowing everywhere. But, listen. Sometimes, where do you get humbleness from when things go wrong in your life? And it's a loss. What is a loss, really? They're both okay. They've both got handsomely paid for it. So it's a plus, isn't it? Get back in there and correct your loss.
Something that I think that is possibly going to happen. Joe Parker, a teammate of his, was also on commentary, and it's going to lead into the question that I'm going to ask, which is, like I said, something that's bothered me a little bit. Joel said he expected Tyson to come out more aggressive, be on the front foot, and Joseph almost looked confused that he didn't do that. not insinuating anything, but could there possibly been a game plan that wasn't adhered to because it seemed to have changed, or what he expected him to do? When you're going in against an opponent like Usyk, front foot, back foot, how do you address somebody like him in the ring? If Hughie goes in to fight Usyk, and that's what I can say, how does he address that fight?
Look, for me, he was a big man and he never used his tools. I thought there was a lot wrong with it. And, that's just my opinion. But I'm not in their teams, it's nothing to do with me. But looking at it, that's what I'd say. I think they got the tactics wrong. I think the game plan was all wrong. And I think that's what I think of it. But still, it was a good fight to watch. So, they both done well. They both done exceptionally well. Regards the end couple of rounds, yeah, I can see what people are saying, but did Tyson have it in his tank to come out and give an avalanche of shots? Or was he so tired he was getting through it? So that we don't know. But for me, we can only talk after the event. But look, when he fought Klitschko in 2015, we're coming into the 12th round. Yeah? And I said the following. I said, let me tell you this. We're in a strange country. Klitschko's got all the belts. It's his network, his TV, whatever it is. I think you're winning it wide. But get out there and try and stop him. That's your call. I said, because we could get robbed on points. And he went out there in 12th round and put it on him. So, obviously, my advice would have been, I don't care if you got one leg and you're dying in the corner. Get in there, yeah? Because I'd have said this, you are down and you're losing this fight. Get in there, go out on your back. Put it on him. That's what should have happened in the corner. But that's me. And that's the advice that I give to fighters, especially when you had such serious fights like this, and the decisions are questionable, it's close, a few rounds here and there. That's what should have happened. And look, there should only be one man in the corner. There shouldn't be 3 and 4.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because that's something that I always listen to the corners in between the rounds. I don't care about betting odds. Yeah. I want to listen to what the coaches are saying, and I saw what I would describe as chaos and confusion. I've seen it with Dillian White when he fought Povetkin. I saw it with Anthony Joshua when he fought Usyk as well. Too many voices, but Peter, you're the coach. You get it more than I do.
I do get it. Some can be too emotional in the corner. Some's giving the wrong advice. You're winning it. To be honest with you, I think the only one that spoke a little bit of sense in that corner, in the last dying stretch of it, I'm not criticising any of the rest of them, yeah? Everybody's trying to do their best. But Sugar Hill said, put it on him. I'm sure I heard that. Yeah. Go forward. Stop crossing your legs. Set on your shots. Yep. That was, I think that was the best advice out of all of it, to be fair. But listen, they shouldn't. I don't know what. There should be one man in the corner speaking. Not. You see, look, when you go into fights, and no matter who it is, and it can be a family member, and of course, you've got to detach yourself. Because you've got to give precise, clear information. And, the thing I always say to the fighter, are you listening? Do you understand what I've just told you to do here? What have I just asked you to do? Yeah? When they're there and they're saying, right, I've got it, this is what I'm going to do, go out and do it. That, in the corner, for me, there was just too many people. But maybe Tyson wants that. I don't know. Listen, it's been years since deals with me. I don't know what the situation is, but clearly for me, I think the game plans was wrong, and all of the situation and too many people in the corner. Whichever one of them 3 or 4, one of them should have been doing the speaking. Whichever one it was, not 3 or 4, because how can you listen to all that? It's going a little bit panicking. It's all over the place. Too many people. Look, I've always said I can't be bought in boxing and fighting, yeah? If somebody on in the corner, I'll say, shut your fucking mouth now, or get out the back. It's happened before. Oh. I'm not having anything going on in that corner. You're a bucket man. You wash the gum shield out, yeah? You wipe his head down. Do not speak. That's their instruction. And if they speak, automatically when they get back to the dressing room, they're sacked on the spot. So that's the way it is. So you've got to have that discipline. You've got to have a full professional corner. That's why I've got Kerry Kays. That's why I've got John Pegg. You know, because the proper people, the proper fighting people that understand this game. And that's what you got to have, especially with world title fights, big fights. But look, let's not take anything away from Usyk. Usyk is an exceptional human being. I'd be saying that if Usyk got demolished in 2 rounds. Listen, he's a God-fearing man, and you got to respect him for what he is. And, you know, he deserved a victory. He pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. And it was like he was not taking any... There was no it can't happen in his eyes. He was prepared to walk through brick walls. You know, so it was a good fight, you know. But that's the only thing I'll say about it. But look, it was a good fight. They got the rematch. And we'll look forward to the next one.
Yeah, we're definitely going to look forward to the next one. I've just got to check my timer on this. Peter, if you was to give one bit of advice, to a fighter that's sitting down, or not even a fighter yet, somebody that's sat at home and thinking, I'm going to give this boxing a go. Yeah, because they've watched the fights. They're a young kid, they're a teenager, whatever it is, male, female. What advice would you give to them, Peter?
Well, for somebody that's never boxed before.
Yeah, and is thinking about doing it.
At what age?
I'm going to say 15 or 16, because I know that's going to be late in your books. They haven't done any amateur, nothing. They're thinking about going down to their local boxing gym and getting started. They might even be getting bullied at school, picked on, and they're thinking, I want to do this.
I think boxing's good for everybody, whether you're a pensioner or whether you're a kid or whether you're a middle-aged man. I think it's very good. But I do know, I can't think of the names, but I know of certain fighters who's come in the gym at 15, 16 and had nothing and turned out to be champions. So if the mindset's there and you really want it, then do it. But you need to have decent people, because a lot of fighters get unnecessarily hurt in there. You know, it's knowing where you're at and if you're good enough. And, you know, that's it. But anybody, if you dedicate enough and you want it, you know, it's never too late, because a 15, 16-year-old kid is just that, he's a kid. So he can develop, he can become good. He can be shit for 5 years and then turn the corner and be a super champion.
We love it. Listen, Peter, is there any final words from you before we say our goodbyes until the next time?
My opinion's only my own, and not trying to offend anybody, but you've asked me, and always give me honest opinion.
And we always admire you for that, Peter.
The truth never lies. Bullshit is lies.
Bullshit flies.
Bullshit flies, lies, whatever. Yeah.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.